Thank you, Arun, for inviting me to the platform. I think before going to the viability question, we need to analyze a bit the current context because of which you have asked this question. As we have witnessed, the corona pandemic has eroded the major oil supplies globally to the extent of 30%. And under panic of such supply losses, the major suppliers have resorted to various strategies to protect their market share, and that led to the this price war and all complications, which ultimately has resulted to the current crisis. As we know, oil prices are subject to such cyclic variations, and way back in 2014 itself, we have witnessed another crisis because of the North American shale production and supply overhang. We were recovering from there, and now there's a new crisis is before us. Uh, but the silver lining is that the primary driver of this current crisis is short term, and I think that is going to eliminate it in next 2 3 quarters because the global lockdown cannot be for perpetuity. And the once the demand bounce backs, I think situation will be eased out. And if the major suppliers adopt a balanced approach and work out a viable supply regime, I think we may eliminate the crisis in next 1 year or so. Initially, there may be some impact because of the global storage space already filled up, and that may impact the recovery to some extent. But I think 1 and 1.5 years we should be leaving behind the crisis. Coming back to the viability, if we ask the major question to ourselves, who are the companies and why companies go out for equity oil and gas projects? We find that two set of companies. One is that international majors and independents and other medium-sized companies which go to international market, participate in equity oil projects with the risk money, and their primary motivation is to make profits. Their time horizon is medium to short term, and they invest, take the risk, make money, and go to the new projects. Then there are a second group of companies which are primarily the NOCs, dominantly the Asian NOCs, including Indian companies like ONGC Videsh, BPRL, All India, and others, which go with a dual motivation. One is, of course, the profit making, but the underlying motivation is also to contribute to the domestic energy security. For energy security is a very relative term, although, but in case we want to define it in the context of India, I think it will be primarily bridging the gap between the endowment and domestic production vis-a-vis our demand. We have got option of importing the entire deficit, but then we'll be totally exposed to the vulnerability to the high oil prices, and also there may be a supply disruptions. So I think it is ideal matrix to have the domestic production supplemented by the equity oil from overseas plus the balance imports, and that is actually adopted by I think most of the NOCs in Asia, and we are also under same regime. Although there is a debate emanating on the energy security and this kind of arrangement of equity oil, when the oil prices are high, the debate is triggered in the supply nations, and NOC started debating why we should allow the foreign companies to participate in such projects and take away our equity oil. And the same time, when the oil prices go down, the same debate is start happening in the purchasing nations, as we are, and we started debating why what is the logic of participating in the oil and gas project overseas. We should concentrate in domestic market, but I think both are extreme situations, and as oil business is very high risk prone and high capital intensive, there is a symbiotic relationship between the supply and demand entities, and supply nations and NOCs there, they want capital, they want risk sharing, they want supply assurances and technologies, whereas the buying nations like us, we want supply assurances, optimize cost, and assured supplies. So ultimately, it's a win-win for both, and we should adopt this approach profitably. But the question is whether it will be profitable or not. It will depend at what price cycle you have entered into projects. If you have made the right decision at right time at the low price regime, then you are going to be profitable in long term. But if you are entering at a high price regime, then there is a reverse is the situation. We have witnessed similar predicament in our own project portfolio. The projects which we have entered into low price regime, they are highly profitable. So the question is whether we have got adequate resource backing, decision making ability, swiftness in decision making, and also the risk taking ability for with long term horizon. I think viability of the international E&P business in the equity oil and gas projects is excellent, and we should resort to that same. There is a second problem with us is that unlike other Asian countries, the participating companies have not direct linkage with the end user companies, that is refineries. And as a result, when the oil prices are collapsing, the equity oil participating companies have to sell their barrels at a deep discounts under selling pressure. So if there is a direct relationship and direct long-term contracts between the Indian refineries and the equity oil companies, then there is a win-win for both. And there could be some issues of freight which can be shared by both the companies, and that can be the cost which we have to, in any case, bear for long-term optimization of our oil supplies. There's another issue I want to flag this at this juncture. Uh, at this stage, actually, there is no institutionalized mechanism to have a balance handling of the upstream, downstream, and international price volatility. In the past, government has instituted some subsidy mechanism between upstream and downstream companies, and also instituted the OIDB and the other funds for supporting this kind of volatility. But I think now, if we want to have a long-term solution to this, there could be one option to have a national energy fund balance sheet, wherein the windfall gains and windfall losses are not flowing into the central budget, but channelized into the upstream and downstream projects within the country, and also support the overseas participating companies to have a robust strategy for participating in the bigger projects. Because right now there is a depending on the balance sheet of the companies, individual companies, and they are guided and directed towards the domestic operation pressures. So for overseas, there is only option is the loan and this borrowing and debt financing from overseas. That helps it, but then there is a limit to that, and the larger risk is at times is not taken by those management, because there is a huge downward pressure of the loan repayment and servicing the debt in terms of this. So in case we adopt to such national balance sheet, wherein the some support is available to this overseas participating companies, and also this is balancing between the upstream and downstream business within the country, I think that could be the major lesson from this crisis for long-term viability of E&P business and downstream refining business as well. Thank you very much.